Hey, it's Miriam Percy.
Hello.
Hi, Councillor Jolly.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, Kathy.
Very quiet. Shall we get started? Who's ready? All
Let's
right,
do
I
it.
will call the meeting to order. Friday, June 25th. This is our Emergency Management Advisory Committee. We've got 3 members on this committee, myself, Councillor Jolly, and Councillor Mackay, and we're all in attendance, so 100%. So anyone want to make a motion to adopt the agenda?
I'll do it. I mean, I've got it open. That
Okay.
the June 25th, 2021 agenda be adopted as presented.
All right, thanks for that. Just before I take the motion, Kevin carried no additions.
Nope, no addition.
Okay, awesome. All right, call for the vote. All those in favor?
In favor.
Councillor Jolly, you're not able to turn your camera?
I'm using my phone, so I'm trying
No,
to limit.
Totally get it. That's fine. Okay. All right. So then of course, the next thing on the agenda is the minutes from June 4th. Anyone want to make that motion?
I can do it if it's probably easier for me if Natalie's on her phone. That the June 4th, 2021 Emergency Management Advisory Committee meeting minutes be adopted as presented. I didn't see anything in there that was.
Yeah.
wrong.
Okay, call for that vote.
In favor. And I've got my computer in front of me, so I've got all my documents. So
Okay.
Okay. All right. Thanks. Natalie.
Okay, so that one passes unanimously. All right, we're gonna go into a situation update. I'm assuming that's Percy.
Correct.
Go ahead.
And we've got a little bit of a presentation here that'll kind of run into things. So I'm going to do a screen share here, and hopefully that works here for you.
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, great. So what we're going to do today is provide a bit of a current situational update, an EOC update, and information on the city's response to stage 3 of the provincial open for summer plan. Diane Enger, Jay Mason, and Elizabeth Wilkie are here to support discussion on the city's response to stage 3 of the provincial open for summer plan in their specific areas. Alberta is currently at the rate of 36 per 100,000, which is slightly above the national average of active cases, which is 25 per 100,000. Canadian active cases continue to drop with combinations of health measures implemented and vaccinations. In Canada, over 39 million vaccine doses have been delivered to provinces and territories, and 87.3% of those doses have been administered, as you can see up there on the slide, which means 76.45% of eligible Canadians have received at least 1 dose, and 26.491% of eligible Canadians are fully vaccinated. And that translates to the following numbers for the total population: 66.56% of the total pop for first dose, and 23.064% fully vaccinated. With increasing vaccination rates, the federal government has changed some of the international travel restrictions for fully vaccinated individuals. Public Safety Minister Blair has also hinted at future steps in reducing those restrictions when 75% of the population is fully vaccinated. Active cases in the province have continued to see a rapid, steady decline since the province initiated the enhanced public health measures to reduce COVID-19, and also a significant uptake of vaccinations by residents. Hospitalization and ICU admissions for COVID-19 have also continued to drop. Vaccination information for Alberta looks very positive. The map you see there shows the vaccinations are occurring across the province, with higher uptakes of vaccines in urban and suburban areas. As of June 23rd, almost 4 million doses of COVID-19 vaccine had been administered in Alberta. And that translated to 71.1% of the population, which was 12 and above, receiving their first dose, which also is 60.6% of the total population. Additionally, 33% of 12 plus are fully vaccinated, which is 28.1% of the total population. The vaccine graph shows first dose vaccines have slowed, but there is steady increase of second dose uptake at the current time. Health has indicated to us that they are now working on targeted areas to increase first dose vaccinations and setting up clinics in different locations for those. Underlying these factors, the province announced on June 18th that it reached 70% of eligible Albertans for first dose vaccination on the Thursday before. So consequently, in the Open for Summer plan, Stage 3 arrives on Canada Day. Premier Kennedy indicated the province would lift all mandatory restrictions and also indicated that the provincial mask mandate would be lifted, but that it may be required in certain settings. Since then, Health has indicated that some measures will be transferring from legal requirements to recommendations with some exceptions. And those exceptions are some of around those the pieces with transit, taxis, acute, and continuing care center. Recommendations will remain for masking, physical distancing, and staying home when you're sick. Stage 3 is a transitional period when we move from pandemic to endemic, with increasing numbers of individuals vaccinated. We will have individuals who are fully vaccinated, some who are partially vaccinated, others who are not vaccinated, some of which are not even eligible for vaccines, those 12 and under 12. Each group will have different levels of risk and will have the ability to decide how to navigate provincial recommendations and their own risks. Concerns by the health continue to be expressed around those COVID variants, especially the Delta variant, also known as the Indian variant. Concerns remain about vaccine efficiency when only having a single dose versus fully vaccinated. Active cases in the region have continued at that steady decline in number and currently sit at 246 active cases. Similarly, in St. Albert, you can see the steady decline, and our numbers currently sit at 13 active cases. St. Albert residents continue to be leaders in vaccinations for the province. Out of the 132 municipalities in which data is provided, St. Albert's number for those eligible 12 years and older is 81.5% have first dose vaccination, which equates to 70.7% of the total population, which ranks third overall in that list of 132, behind Edmonton's Twin Brooks areas, and Calgary's Lower and Northwest, which are tied for first. St. Albert's number is 47.3% are fully immunized of those eligible, which equates to 41.4% of the total population, which is ranked second overall, which is also behind Lethbridge South. These numbers are significant, as large vaccination numbers are what reduces provincial and federal restrictions for us. The residents of St. Albert are to be commended for their efforts in stepping up to get vaccinated. As Stage 3 of the Open for Summer plan starts, the Emergency Operations Center is preparing for scaling back to an observational and advice role. Health expects to continue working with municipalities on transitions and changes over the next few weeks, especially items like transit and that in response to vaccines. This period is when people will have to be re-experience their norms in society as we begin to move into manners which we used to be accustomed to. More group settings, more interactions with individuals back in businesses and back in the community. As we continue to observe, there are items that will need to be reviewed, refreshed, and addressed, especially with some of those changes from health. Additionally, an after-action review will be conducted for lessons learned and to provide feedback and input to the municipal emergency management plan. During this time, other items continue to emerge. Environment Canada has issued a warning for a prolonged dangerous heat wave for Northern Alberta. We're currently working with community services and the Emergency Social Services Program on the coming heat wave and methods to address issues within the community. Please expect a slot memo later today on that with the information as we can provide that for you. Do you have any questions to this point?
Councillor Jolly, any questions?
Nope, thank you.
Okay, good. I'm good too, and I saw Ken seems good too, so let's keep going.
Okay, so where we'll jump is into St. Albert's reopening plan. As previously mentioned, the province has indicated they're moving from a legislative approach to measures of recommendations and limited guidance documents, which focuses on individual choices based on risk, which really puts the onus back on individuals to decide their level of risk and how to address the risks of COVID. This is an important time of acceptance and tolerance of how others are addressing the situation, as we'll see broad differences in how people address their own individual risk. And we won't know the specifics of their situation. There'll be people who are fully vaccinated, like we talked about, and some who are in different stages of vaccination. Provincial guidance and recommendations are expected to be found as are on the chart on this slide. There are challenges in this, as we haven't seen any orders or any documentation other than the websites and those the public speeches that politicians have made and Henshaw have made. So we've seen movement on different items throughout this time to include masking in certain settings like the acute care, continuing care centers, and on transits and ride shares. So that's different than what was potentially announced at the beginning. This means really what we need to do is have a close and measured review of orders that wind up being issued for stage 3 once they're posted. Throughout this, I'm going to really reemphasize that individuals will have different levels of risk tolerance, and we need to recognize and accept this as we move to this new time. Measures that our individuals will have recommended to them by health to consider are expected to be the situation they're in. So, if you're in a crowded setting, indoors, outdoors, all those sorts of things, whether they should be masked, except in those settings, which they're going to be mandatory, and maintaining some of those good habits of cleaning and hand washing that have been developed by everyone throughout this period, and to consider physical distancing from others in certain settings where you're not familiar with others. Also, not going somewhere when you're sick so that you're not transmitting disease to others. With Council's bylaw amendment that repeals the St. Albert's face coverings bylaw upon stage 3, means that the city will be following provincial orders. There will not be mandatory measures for the public in St. Albert, except those as required by the province in certain settings. Any questions there?
So it's the province that's mandating masks on the transit though, right?
Correct. It is the
Yeah.
province mandating. That's the indications we have.
And that will come with a health order that we haven't seen yet.
Correct.
Okay. Councillor Mackay?
Yeah, and just to the other side of that one equation or formula is that it's just extended care or seniors facilities, or can you, and no other mention of other medical facilities or other health services, right?
The mention that has been from health is it'll be in the acute care setting, so the Sturgeon Hospital would be included in that. Also continuing care facilities, so that would be the senior residents, like you know, whether it's the UVille or other ones within our community, those continuing care where care is received and that sort of thing as well.
All right, but not in medical offices, but there's nothing, well, we will have to wait for the orders to come out, but there would be nothing necessarily precluding a business or of any type of implementing their own masking requirement. Is that correct?
That would be correct. Businesses can initiate their own masking initiatives throughout this whole time.
Okay, thanks.
Councillor Jolly, any questions?
Yeah, just quickly along those same lines, is there anything that we can do to support those businesses that require masks, just by having an FAQ kind of that says that yes, they're allowed to make up kind of the requirements within their own business?
We do have information out, and we're updating the business FAQ, and that information will be within the business FAQ, the business toolkit.
Okay. Thank you. And it looks like Carrie just put in the chat that Starbucks will continue to require masks. So that's good information to know. Thank you.
I think we're dropping you, Councillor Jolly.
Oh, I can hear you just fine.
Yeah, you just went
Hello?
quiet for a minute. Can you hear us? Yeah, she's got internet problems, looks like. So Starbucks is keeping masking. That's interesting. Okay. Do we have any other businesses that we know of, Percy?
Not 100% sure at this time. I think time will tell, and
Right.
and different businesses will dictate what they do over that time frame.
Okay. All right, keep going.
You bet. Throughout this time, considerable planning and strategizing has gone into what stage 3 means for St. Albert. Our planning has been based on the principles of following provincial orders and reviewing recommendations to determine what the application of potential measures might be. Obviously, that'll have to be relooked at once the orders are truly in place. But we've looked at advice from health on application that we've got from different meetings with them. Plans for facility reopenings are in place following expected guidance and recommendations. These will be shared in the next few slides with specifics on recreation, community service, transit, and general administration in indoor public spaces. Throughout this time, some of our city staff have remained in civic facilities, providing services to the public throughout the pandemic, while others who could work remotely have been. Re-entry plans will work towards returning those staffs who've been working remotely and resuming front counter services. Communication plans are being developed and ready for implementation with stage 3. This includes promotions such as news releases, website updates, the VMS board at City Hall, social media, city lights, etc. Communications is working with the various departments to update their web pages, signage, and developing messaging. What's being done also is what's also is occurring is updating and streamlining of the COVID-19 pages for stage 3 and beyond, and focusing on what's reopening. Some measures will remain in facilities, and these will include the engineered controls or barriers that would put in place as part of the response to COVID. Enhanced cleaning measures are planned to remain in place and be reevaluated at the end of September. Hand sanitizer will be available. Signage will change. Positive community messaging will be in parks and playgrounds throughout the community once stage 3 begins. And that messaging will focus on T8 and together, being kind to one another and respecting others' decisions. All current COVID signage will be coming down, except for the signs on transit due to the provincial masking requirements remaining for public transit, taxis, and ride sharing. A sign will be put up at all city facilities that welcomes people back to our facilities, and again focus also on positive community messaging. We will remind individuals and people coming in that face coverings are not required within city facilities, but people can wear one if they feel more comfortable wearing that. For transit, we will keep the current signage on buses, pulling all other signage at bus shelters and transit centers, aligning with provincial measures. And with that, I would take your questions or pass the next pass to Diane Anger to deal with recreation.
I think Councillor Mackay has a question. Go ahead.
Just a question on enforcement of on our transit. Is there any of the authorities changing in relation to that? So does that include also the bus stops and the like NACI, or you kind of follow where I'm going? So if there's some non-compliance, is that our bylaw officers, or will that become the RCMP's responsibility? Do we know anything yet, or is that yet to be determined?
Some of it's still to be determined, health said, but Ryan is also on this meeting and Aaron is on this meeting and can address your questions on this.
Yeah, maybe I'll jump in there, Percy. Thank you. So Councillor Mackay, so currently right now, our peace officers don't have any authority under the provincial health order. So that's just going to maintain and remain in place for now. As far as the NACI site, it's actually in the jurisdiction of the city of Edmonton as well. So that offers an additional challenge to us when our buses go into Edmonton, that our bylaws, if a bylaw were to get implemented, it's outside the jurisdiction of the officers themselves. So everything would be retained right now with the RCMP for a response on that, depending on their priority levels and whatever else they have going on at the time. But I'll turn that over to Ryan if he wants to, or Inspector Cominick if you'd like to comment.
Yeah, thanks, sir. No, I haven't heard anything different from the RCMP, so I would assume that everything will default to the current non-compliance laws, provincial laws for ticketing and enforcement.
All right, thanks. I can imagine that, I would imagine our regular transit drivers will not have too many problems with that. And I guess it depends on how long these masking restrictions remain in place, whether they'll continue all the way up, for example, to September when university starts, when we'll start to see a little bit more ridership. And then obviously that's going to, impact our crowding situation. So it will be interesting to see how long they remain in effect. But anyways, I just think that's something, as long as we're giving some thought to it, I'm fine with it, because there could be some confusion at that point. Anyways, thanks.
Councillor Jolly.
Thank you. I've changed my audio settings, so you can hear me now?
Yeah, we sure can.
Great. So my question is about the signage. So I understand that masking will be voluntary, but I'm curious if we're sharing the Health Canada recommendations that came out, I don't know if it was yesterday or today, about recommendations for depending on your vaccination status, if that's something that we're going to share in our city facilities.
What came out yesterday, Natalie?
The Health Canada released this like great kind of color coded graph based on zero vaccinations or fully vaccinated, and recommendations for masking depending on the situation. So it's a nice little graph.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you seen that, Percy?
I've heard about it. I haven't had a chance to delve deeply into it. We were focusing on some of the kind of warm weather stuff here today to address that piece, but I'd have to get back to you on that, Councillor Jolly.
Okay, thank you.
So, Councillor Jolly, you're just essentially suggesting that instead of saying welcome back and you can wear a mask if you're comfortable, that we actually share that graph?
Well, yeah, because it's coming, I think from what I understand, that we're taking our cues from Health Canada and from Alberta Health. So with those really clear recommendations, that might make it easier for people to make decisions and understand the decisions of others.
Can I ask a transit question? Maybe I missed it. Do we have, are we restricted on capacity? And what is that restriction? There's no restriction, Percy? Oh, is that Jay? Who I hear my hearing?
It's Jay here.
Hi, Jay.
Hi, Mary. Yeah, we haven't received any restrictions from the province on transit ridership. It's status quo as far as that goes.
So status quo, meaning it can be 100% on July 1st, you can have a bus full.
Correct.
Okay, all right. I mean, I'm not sure that's a great idea, but I was hoping it was 100% for September when school goes back, but okay, well, maybe when the health orders come out, we'll know more. Yeah, okay. Councillor Jolly, your hand's still up, but I'll just check back with you.
I'm sorry, all good, thank you.
Okay, all right, let's keep going. Do I hear Diane's coming in?
Yes, I'm going to pass off to Diane next.
Okay.
Thanks, Percy, and good afternoon. So I'm excited to be here to share with you the plans, and we're excited to welcome back the public in alignment with Stage 3. So Recreation and Parks is planning a phased and staged approach to facility and programs, taking into consideration, of course, the health orders when they come out. We review them thoroughly, staff resources and facility readiness to open, as well as community group and the public's readiness to return to activities. So in recreation facilities, beginning July 1st, in addition to what is currently already offered at Service Place, we will be opening up our locker rooms, adding spontaneous use of gyms and fields, as well as our indoor playground. Landrex Water Play Park will open mid-August once the infrastructure construction is complete. Fountain Park Recreation Center will open up change room access, hot tubs, and steam rooms July 1st, and normal hours of operation and service delivery will resume on July 5th. Grosvenor Pool will return to normal operating hours, capacity, and change room access as of July 1st. As well, Woodlands Water Play Park, we will be able to increase capacity and open our change rooms as well on July 1st. Our outdoor recreation facilities such as sport fields, courts, and playgrounds will see little or no change as we move into Stage 3, however, with the exception of some signage, as Percy has spoken to, and we will be removing the security at the skate park, and we'll be looking to book our tennis and pickleball courts. All current demand for arena usage is currently being accommodated at Service Place, but Aginla and Kinnick's arenas are anticipated to remain closed until the ice is built in the summer. So Kinnick's will open in July and Aginla in August in alignment with our full booking and sport program season. So looking at our recreation programs. Thanks, Percy. So programs and services will return to normal operation with gradual increase in programs, again, based on user demand. So drop-in and registered fitness programs will resume without restriction on July 5th and will be available through reservation and registration. And we will begin with about a 75% of our historical program offering, and we'll increase that based on demand and the community's readiness to return to programs. Spontaneous use of gym courts and fields at Service Place for basketball and other sports will resume on July 5th. Drop-in and organized recreation programming at Service Place will resume in September, and registered and drop-in family and learn to skate program opportunities will begin in August. Aquatic programming will return gradually with swim lessons and specialty programs beginning on July 19th. With modified service delivery in some classes to allow for some distancing between instructors and participants in the younger age categories. Lane swimming will continue to be offered with reservation as it has been well received by the community. They really appreciate the opportunity to actually reserve a lane. Full aquatics programming without modifications will resume for the fall session beginning on September 7th. Our roaming rec crew will continue throughout the summer. This program travels throughout our neighborhoods and parks daily to encourage outdoor activity, participation, and play. Our outdoor recreation camps and programming will be offered this summer starting on July 5th. We're focusing on sport, recreation, and nature outdoor play. In our first week of registration, we had over 240 registrations already. So the community is anxious to get back to some of our programming. Our business partners in recreation facilities and parks will return based on amenities provided at the respective facilities. So our concession at Woodlands Water Play Park is already open. Our Grosvenor concession will open on July 1st. Fountain Park and Service Place are anticipated to resume in July. That's a quick update. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Love your excitement, Diane. It has been a long time. Councilor Guy has his hand up.
Yeah, I'm excited too. Just going back to the skateboard park, I realized removing the security guard was a lot to do with social distancing, making sure the counts were there. But there was some other benefits as well, because of course the popularity brought in a certain element that created some disorder problems. How's that moving along, or how is that going?
Well, I'll probably ask Aaron to jump in as well. But from our perspective, our water park staff do also take head counts of the skate park and do monitor. And they've had little to no issues while they've been there, but I'll pass it over to Aaron to respond as well.
Yeah, thank you, Diane. I had a conversation with our security company yesterday on this to get an update, and I've been reviewing the reports, and it's been actually pretty good activity so far. They haven't reported any incidents that are of a concern of a social disorder nature. I think that's something that going to the skate park, our peace officers are well aware of, and we're going to keep that on our routine patrols to make sure that we're stopping in every once in a while and checking in on that so that we don't lose traction that's been gained.
Good. Appreciate that. Thanks. That's actually really good news to hear. Diane, in relation to opening up like our arenas and other community amenities, are we what about some of our long time events like John Reed Memorial Tournament and things like that? Are they moving ahead, or are they canceled for this year as well?
Well, I'm excited to share that our hockey camps are in full swing this summer. So Okanagan and Gretzky hockey schools are both coming back in the summer. In terms of other tournaments and events, our event staff are connecting with our community partners. There's lots of planning happening right now. So the John Reed will happen in January. I would assume as long as restrictions remain lifted, they will plan to offer those kinds of events. So they're just starting to work with all those groups and see. Our big time for events is usually fall and winter, and then into spring. So I'm sure everyone will be start to plan for this next year. Yeah,
and thanks for reminding me when John Reed was. That's the first one that came to my head, and that's all I could remember. But thanks, I appreciate that.
So Dolly.
Questions? Thank you.
No? Okay, we're good. All right, I don't see any more questions, and I have none, so that was good. And is there more coming? Okay.
Good afternoon. I will echo Diane's sentiments about how excited everyone is about bringing our programming back to the community. My colleagues are vibrating with ideas of what live performance is going to look like, and they are going to take advantage of every moment they can outside through the summer. In fact, on Canada Day, you'll have a chance to take in some of our Amplify youth performers and some of our community performers roving throughout the parks and trails. My colleague Andrea Gumman is joining me today in case you have more questions about any of the live events that are coming up. Otherwise, I have a similar summary to what you can expect to see as we enter into stage 3. Community services will be continuing to offer some of our classes, performances, and services virtually while welcoming the community back in person without restrictions. We have recognized what an opportunity it has been to provide an accessible entry into our program. And while there continues to be demand for that virtual programming, we will continue to offer it alongside in person. Amplify Youth Arts Development, which is now our year-round programming to amplify creativity for youth from grade 7 to age 21. The youth are so excited to be able to start meeting in person again rather than virtually. We had no problem filling the Canada Day performance spots, and they will start meeting in person in July. They have a scavenger hunt planned for July. On August 8th, they will host Amplify Al Fresco, which is a outdoor concert with youth performers. And then on August 28th, they have Illuminate planned, which is their youth art and music in the park. Bookings for cultural facilities. We've had our City Art Space, our visual art studios at St. Albert Place and the Art and Theatre open since stage 2. But with stage 3, we're excited to be welcoming back all of our renters and partners and leaseholders without restrictions. Especially happy to see our SAPVAC Guild members coming back into the studios and the reopening of shop wares. We may see leaseholder partners and renters, including some modifications in their events and programs, and we'll work with them to make sure it fits within our operations as well. FCSS BAM, the Building Assets and Memories program, which is open to youth grade 10 to 24, is moving to in-person. On the 28th, I believe, is their first meeting this month. And then next month, they can do it without the restrictions. They're looking forward to the return to meetings and events. FCSS in-person counseling supports will resume for ages 15 to 24 beginning August 16th. As Percy mentioned earlier, the acrylic engineered barriers will remain in place at this time in counseling rooms. Neighborhood block parties, which are such a staple and such a tradition in St. Albert, for a way for us to meet and reconnect and spend time with our neighbors. We will bring that back on July 5th without restrictions. We will continue to provide our block party hosts with information on how they can host a safe event. Performing arts programming, which is St. Albert Children's Theatre and our other theatre and music related classes, will resume in person starting July 12th, and soon after that, in-person rehearsals for the St. Albert Children's Theatre's 40th anniversary project of Story Goes On will also resume. And then this is where everybody is excited for, is to have live performance back throughout our community. Professional programming, family-friendly entertainment is programmed for Canada Day, as I mentioned previously. We are finalizing plans for an outdoor music series for St. Albert Place Plaza starting Thursday, August 5th and continuing to the end of September, weather permitting. We will move people into the Art and Theatre in case it does rain, but we're expecting a beautiful summer. The first city program performances at the Art and Theatre stage will start on October 2nd. And the department is continuing to support and plan for additional low-cost, no-cost performances and events throughout the community over the next 3 months. And that's all I have for you. Is there any questions?
I don't have any questions. I just want to get on with your excitement. Let's go. Let's start. I'm really excited as well as you are.
Thank you.
No questions from me, Mary Heron.
Kathy, you're muted.
I'm excited as well. Looking forward to some of the plaza concerts just outside City Hall. That'll be good. Yeah, we talked about that at the Recovery Task Force day. Okay, is there more presentations? So I guess I have a question maybe for Mr. Scoble. Is this entire meeting just more or less updates, or do you need decisions from the committee at all?
For the most part, it's an update where
Good.
we're providing some information on I guess level of service and as well as level of I guess precautionary measures going forward, such as enhanced cleaning.
Yeah. Okay. I guess I do have a question that I just thought of. Will all the bathrooms be open in the trail system on July 1st? Maybe that's for Percy.
Just took a little time to unmute there.
That's okay.
In terms of things, the bathrooms that remain open are the ones at Woodlands, the Woodlands Water Park, Lions, and I'm just trying to remember.
I think this one at Lacombe.
Lacombe.
And Kingswood, right?
Diane probably has them all. There are, with the enhanced cleaning measures, not all the the portable washrooms will be open. It's more focusing on the ones on that trail system and Riel. They are planned to be coming back in for next year.
Okay, and we're going to keep the enhanced cleaning on our bathrooms, at least till the end of the summer? Okay.
Yes.
All right. All right, transit implementation plan.
Thanks, Mayor Heron. I'll jump in. I'll try to be as excited about the buses, although we're not changing as much as everyone else is. So I'll do my best. But the one positive for transit anyway for us is the return to school. So September is our big change of riderships and revenue streams, etc. July 1st, as you can see what I've sort of written here, I'll give you an update of what we do and what we'll continue to do, but and what the small changes are. But so as stated earlier, all the buses will remain with signage, as well as our head signs, the electronic messaging, etc., letting people know of the requirement. It's going to be confusing for some people that aren't aware of the orders, but we'll make sure that everything's in place and people are aware. Just to keep you, we talked a little bit about how we monitor the masking on the bus. We do have a process in place right now. Our bus drivers, obviously their main focus is the road from a safety perspective, but they do remind people to get on the bus without masks if they are required, point to the signage, etc. And if there is problems, they have the ability to phone ahead to our contract supervisors, who at that point, as Aaron read it earlier, it's not MES, but we'll phone RCMP from there if needed. We haven't had that situation yet. We've canvassed a lot of our partners as well. Sherwood Park, Strathcona, they do actually have MES dedicated to their transit systems. They haven't had any of these situations either, so knock on wood, we'll continue with that. And currently at the end of the day, we do receive an enhanced clean. It's an expensive operation. We fog all buses that are in service during the day. At the end of the day, so that they're ready for the next morning. The only major changes we have is within the transit centers. So we're going to continue through with all those processes, but we will remove the signage in the transit centers and replace with the positive messaging that we're putting throughout the city. And then we'll continue to be consistent with all other facilities of the enhanced cleaning. That would raise, once we go back to full service, it's going to go up another 25% in cost as we bring our full service back in. But we're going to monitor all the way through. We do have the ability with our contractor to make changes as required. So If we need to alternate service days, or we need to try a delay at some point, we can work with a contractor and put that into place as soon as it's needed. As well as if we cancel it, we can bring it right back on board if needed as well. But to stay consistent with what we're doing throughout the city, the recommendation is to continue with enhanced cleaning going forward.
I would tend to agree. That's a good idea. Any questions for Jay?
None for me.
Councillor McKay, you're good? All right.
Yep, I'm good, thank you.
Excellent. What's next? General administration? Yeah, there we go.
And I'll mute myself again here. In terms of things for general administration, and it's also kind of that indoor public spaces in civic facilities. Front counters are reopening. St. Albert Place's main customer services desk is opening on June 28th. And this is to allow in-person tax payments to be accepted from the 28th to the 30th. The rest of front counters are opening July 5th. On June 22nd, Communications started promoting front counter openings. They've been promoting them and will continue to promote that over the next few weeks with city through news release, website, VMS board at City Hall, social media, and city lights. During stage 2, all public health guidance will be in place in St. Albert Place. Upon stage 3, measures in place in general administration areas will be in line with provincial public health measures. Individuals will be able to address measures they wish to follow on an individual risk assessment basis. This will apply to both public and staff. There will be certain situations which may deviate from this, such as transit for public and staff. Additionally, for staff, if a workplace hazard assessment has identified the need for masking in certain area, staff will need to follow that guidance. What also remains in place are those barriers, those engineered barriers that we've talked about before. Some of the floor signage that's there on physical distancing and directional arrows will remain. And it's a general reminder. Hand sanitizer will be available. The building signage will change, obviously, but the enhanced cleaning will be in place. Signs will be up at the city facilities that welcome people back, and again, focuses on that positive community messaging. In and around the community as well, positive community messaging will be in parks and playgrounds throughout the community. And that'll be without that T8N message, be kind to one another and respect others' decisions. This change in parks and throughout the system will take a few days to completely complete because the number of signs and also the long weekend holidays as well. Any further questions?
I just had a question about, Carrie, you sent out an email saying that we couldn't open up the gallery of chambers on July 5th. I think you said it was because of the public hearing. Yes. What about public that don't care about the public hearing? I mean, we know we have a few that just like to come and watch, and they have been unengaged throughout the whole pandemic and are really looking forward to getting back in there. Right. So for public not attending the public hearing, can they sit in the gallery?
I think where it was kind of coming down to was it was trying to balance that messaging for the public and just keeping it all consistent for the 5th, because what it was going to happen was we were going to have public there for the regular meeting, and then they would be asked to step out of the gallery during the public hearing and then have to join virtually and then come back for the regular part of the meeting. So we felt it was easier for it just to be maintained as all virtual for that 5th meeting. We can do it the other way. It was just an easier way of doing it, so we did not have to clear the gallery out.
I haven't heard from anybody that wanting to come in, but if I do, I will maybe pass it over to you as an option,
Yeah.
but I'm okay either way. Yep. Councillor Jolly, question?
I just said I corresponded with Ian of the Muppets,
Yeah.
and they're all looking forward to coming back probably in August.
Okay, good. I hope it's polite and that we call them the Muppets publicly.
I think they'd love it.
I think they do too. They gave us a card with that on it. So, Muppet Gang. Councillor Mackay, any questions? You're good? All right. It seems so fast. Things are going to look pretty different in City Hall and around this community come next week. Any more questions on anything? Or we're good then, because I think that's the end of the agenda. Am I not? Yeah, that's correct. So anything else, Kevin or Carrie, that you want to? I saw that you sent the update on the hot weather, Carrie. Get to that. Ryan, you're good?
Don't have anything further.
Okay. All right. Oh, we finally get to see Natalie, just so she can wave goodbye. All right. I am adjourning the meeting at 4:50. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.